Holly, how are you doing? I heard you finally moved, huh? So, I guess I won't be seeing you and little Kennedy anymore, huh? I'm going to miss you both. It'll be sad and lonely without you around. Jake seems really upset about it too. But remember, you can always come back anytime you want. We'll still be your friends. Well, if we're not busy, that is.
I see you took the time to contact me. Is that all you wanted to say?
Yeah, so why do you seem so angry?
If you've got nothing else to say to me. Goodbye.
Come on. Don't say that to me.
What is it? Do you want something else from me?
What do you mean, want something else? Wait. Are you talking about Jake? Are you trying to say that I took Jake from you?
That's what happened, isn't it? You were a single mother. And you recklessly butted in on our family and took my child's father. Now Jake's living with you, isn't he?
I didn't take Jake from you. He made advances towards me first. So don't blame me for this. You need to understand, it wasn't my fault. Can't you see that?
Yeah. Whatever. It doesn't matter now. If you don't want anything, then we're done here, right? You stole my husband from me. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Okay, I'll tell you what I really messaged you to say. To tell you the truth. Jake and I are getting married.
Oh. Okay.
Come on. Give me more of a reaction. Actually, to be more specific, we're officially married as of today. We're having the actual wedding ceremony later, though.
That's nice.
Hey! Show some more interest than that. I know you're really bitter about this. You're just acting this way because you're jealous. Jake chose me over you. Obviously, you're upset and jealous, right? But you can't blame him. I mean, when you compare us, it's clear that I'm the better catch. And you're always working. You were too busy to give him what he needed. I heard you barely did any housework either, huh?
I wasn't that busy at work. I was always home on time. And I always had the housework done. Anytime a guy cheats, those are his typical excuses, even if they're not true. Did you not know that?
Don't talk down to me like that. Even if you talk down to me, it doesn't change the fact that you lost to me. Just accept it. Jake ended his marriage with you so he could be with me. He said he's going to be a good father to my little Max and help raise him as his own. So don't try to get in the way.
I have no interest in trying to get in anyone's way. I don't want anything to do with him or you ever again. He's already paid me for everything I got in the divorce. So, I think things are going to be pretty tough for him for a while. I hope you can support Jake through this.
Pretty tough? What are you talking about? Things won't be tough for us. Jake works for a major company and makes lots of money. Everyone wishes they had a job as good as his. That's why I have no idea why he married such a plain, run-of-the-mill woman like you in the first place. Honestly, it's surprising. Sorry to say. Well, Jake is Max's father now. So even if your kid sees Jake at daycare, make sure he doesn't call him Daddy anymore. Oh, wait. You moved. So that won't be an issue, will it? You ran away with your tail between your legs, didn't you? That's because you're a loser.
Wow, you seem really happy, don't you? That's good. I'm just glad you're happy with Jake. I really am.
What are you saying? You're just trying to act like none of this bothers you, aren't you?
No. I mean it. I'm glad you're happy. In fact, now that Jake has left and hooked up with you, I couldn't be happier either.
What do you mean? Are you being sarcastic? You're just acting like this because you're the loser. Because you're a loser.
No, that's not it at all. But if thinking that makes you feel better, then go right ahead. I think things are going to be pretty tough for you from here on out. So just do your best. I'll be rooting for you the whole time.
Why are you acting like you're better than me? This isn't sitting right with me. Don't you understand? You lost to me. I took your husband. He chose me over you. He's a handsome man with a great job and works for a huge company. He's mine now, not yours. He even told me that I'm better than you in every way. So, Bernadine, you have a nice little house there, but you don't work.
Your house is provided through your dad's company, right?
That's correct. So, as a single mother, I don't have to work. My house and utilities are covered by my dad's company. Unlike you, who has to work all the time to avoid being poor. I have no financial problems.
But your father's company isn't very big, is it?
I suppose it's a small-scale business, but I am the owner's daughter. So, with my parents' help, I manage just fine on my own. Got it? I'm not like you.
Oh, so that's why Jake chose you, huh?
Huh?
The reason Jake got his great job in the first place is because my father holds a high position in his company.
What are you talking about? Are you upset because you lost him to me?
No, I'm telling you the truth. That company usually doesn't hire high school graduates. They prefer candidates with degrees and years of experience. But Jake wanted to marry me. So my father used his influence to get Jake hired to provide for me. That's all it was. Jake doesn't have any real skills. In fact, even after working there for a while, Jake wasn't good at his job.
That can't be true. Why would you say something like that? It doesn't make sense.
I'm just telling you what really happened. I was young and foolish back then. I was attracted to his looks and enthusiasm. He wanted me, so I impulsively married him without much thought. But the truth is, the guy has a gambling problem. It has gotten worse recently. He even used up all of MY's savings to fuel his addiction. On top of that, he was constantly making mistakes at work. I knew it was only a matter of time before my father's influence couldn't protect him. And he would get fired. I suppose Jake knew I was fed up and about to kick him out. So he ran to the first woman he thought he could use. That's why he turned to you.
Oh, stop it. None of that is true. Jake always surprises me with expensive gifts. He has plenty of money.
They're probably just cheap knockoffs he found online. Jake doesn't have any money. But he probably tried his best to charm you into accepting him. That's what I think, anyway. Jake and his parents are in debt. He even paid all of my compensation money at once. I know he didn't have the money, so I assume he borrowed it from somewhere.
He never mentioned any of this to me. He never talks to me about money.
You married him without discussing money? You never looked into his financial situation?
Of course not. Why would I? He works for a large company. I never thought I needed to verify his income.
Jake? He doesn't have a job. He was fired before we got divorced. He has no money.
He goes to work every day.
You think going to the casino is work?
I don't believe you. I'll ask him as soon as he gets home. We went to City Hall this morning to sign the marriage certificate.
I assumed he took the whole day off to celebrate with me. But he said he had to work in the afternoon, so he's not here right now. I bet he's at the casino. If you go there and check, you'll see for yourself. Anyway, I have a decent job. When my father needs an interpreter at his office for their overseas business, I help remotely from home. So Kennedy and I will be fine without Jake. We don't really need his money. But Jake also paid all of my child support payments up front.
Why? If he's as broke as you say he is, how could he pay years of child support in advance?
My dad pressured him into it because he thought Jake would eventually default on the payments. Also, Jake had been embezzling money from the company, and my dad found out. He was likely using the money for his gambling addiction. My dad said if he didn't pay me the child support and compensation up front, legal action would be taken for his misconduct at work. The police would get involved, and Jake would likely face jail time. Jake did everything he could to get the money and pay me to avoid that. I have no idea where he managed to borrow the money from. But I guess it doesn't matter now. From now on, Jake can rely on you whenever he needs something, right?
He can't rely on me for money. My father had the same idea as Jake.
What do you mean?
My dad's company is struggling at the moment. My dad asked me to help them out. He wanted me to marry someone wealthy as soon as possible. And I thought that by doing that, I wouldn't have to work. And I could still support my dad financially.
Oh, I see. Well, that's unfortunate. Because the man you married this morning is an unemployed gambling addict. Not only that, but he's heavily in debt. And he's in his early 40s. You really hit the jackpot, didn't you?
You're serious, aren't you? Is what you're saying really true?
Each and every utterance. There's no cause for me to deceive you. I realize this may not be what you wish to hear, but your actions have led to the dissolution of my predicaments. In essence, by drawing Jake away from me, you've done me a favor. My gratitude is beyond words. Additionally, the fact that I'll be getting compensation from both of you for the betrayal is like a cherry on top. I wish you two a prosperous life together. Oh, and by the way, best wishes on your nuptials.
Why wasn't I privy to this information earlier? Had I known all this, I wouldn't have focused on him.
Oh, you actively pursued him? I was under the impression that he was the one who initiated things with you.
That's irrelevant. That's not the crux of the issue at hand. I was led to believe Jake was affluent. That's the sole reason I agreed to wed him. This does no good for me, my family, nor my father's business. What course of action am I supposed to take now?
Well, at this point, all you can really do is hold on to hope. Hope that Jake hits the jackpot at the casino.
That's a pipe dream. Can't your father intervene? Can't he reinstate Jake?
He's no longer my husband. So it's irrelevant. There's no incentive for me. On that note, regarding incentive, it appears you're yet to settle the compensation I'm owed. You are aware that I'm suing you, aren't you? My attorney has reached out to you multiple times.
I assumed when I became Jake's wife, Jake would cover the sum for me. If he's without funds, what course of action am I supposed to take?
I'm unsure. But you need to find a solution. Appeal to your parents or your friends. If you don't pay by the agreed upon date, your situation will deteriorate even further.
But you grasp the predicament I'm in, don't you? I've disclosed everything. I was entirely unaware that Jake was penniless.
You should have done your due diligence before tying the knot. If you didn't, that's on you. It's not my concern. Jake managed to cover his part. Therefore, you should have no issues with yours, correct? After all, your father helms a company. Subsequently, Bernadine made her way to the casino, where she encountered Jake. She confronted Jake, probing him about all the stories she'd heard. It turned out that Holly's tales about Jake were indeed accurate. Bernadine managed to procure a loan from Jake to clear Holly's pending claim for compensation. However, since Bernadine hadn't scrutinized Jake's financial status prior to their union, her father chose to withhold any aid regarding Jake's financial liabilities, eventually severing ties with both of them. Given Bernadine's situation with a young child and a jobless husband now burdened with a considerable debt, she was left with no alternative but to join the workforce for the first time in her life.